am again. If you didn't see my last video, then good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I love America. I want to say that out loud. I love America, and I know why you don't. But there's two sides to every coin. All right, let's talk about emotions and how they work in the brain. Physically, biologically, how they function in the brain. And I don't know this for fact yet. I don't have the data. But if somebody gets me a whole bunch of fMRI data, I can handle it. I can handle any finite population. And I can even handle the regenerative ones. But the infinite backwards are impossible. All right. Whew. Sorry, I'm worked up drinking coffee. It's silly. But the energy in me, it's hard to harness. Sometimes I'm all over the place. I let loose on Guardian 34586 last night. It was great. And he puts up with it because we have a very strong connection. Because he carried me through the hardest thing I had to do. So our connection has the ability to handle all kinds of stuff. And we get to decide what we fill it with, him and I. It wasn't intentional. It's a random thing. But he's the only person I had to talk to. So he ate my darkness and we turned it into light together. And now we have a big giant connection that we can do whatever we want with. It's kind of neat. So the brain. Oh, here's how it works. Every emotion, ever and always, every single emotion is part of the data population. And your brain is responsible for storing your emotions. And the mind is connected to all the brains. Well, that doesn't sound like biology, but you have to record the event in your brain just like a computer. This could be a simulation. Maybe the end is when we teach robots how to have feelings. It's a probability curve. I don't like that one. I like thinking about the glow as something that's so special. It has to be divine. But your job is recording the event. And like I said on my Meaning of Life video, all the thoughts ever are available. So what happens with trauma? This is the big deal. But your emotions, the energy that's be able to store in a specific file, megabyte wise, in your brain, can only take up so much space. And trauma takes up the most space. So the more trauma you get, the more of your brain you're using, because the brain has to keep finding new file folders to put shit in because it can't handle some of them. Your spirit can't handle looking at it. The extra special trauma, the real bad stuff, it disappears from your mind because your spirit is like, hell no, you ain't thinking about that. You already got it tough enough. But then the spirit kills the body. Because the energy, the dark energy or the anxiety or stress, whatever you want to call it, stuck in your brain. It's filed there. And you got to get it out. And it's important because then you connect events. So if you have something really traumatic happen in your life, and your brain learns to forget about it, every time that happens, it turns off. But your spirit's still there. The energy of the moment is still captured. I know it's controversial, but that's bipolar disorder. if you fill up too much on anger, you jump into the universal truth and you're running around with every single thought that's ever been thought running around in your head. And since you're not like trying to figure stuff out, it's almost like your spirit is terrified because it doesn't know how to deal with that. That is bipolar disorder. So your brain keeps using up more and more space. Well, the more and more space you get, the more and more access you get to the universal truth. Because you're not using the parts of your brain that were designed to deal with your emotions because the trauma is blocking it from getting in there. Storing the energy. Fundamentally, I'm not talking hooey here, and I can't wait to see fMRI data, really. I'm uniquely qualified. I'm a data analyst. Whatever. I built an ERP system in Excel. I mastered logic through Excel. I did. But logic works on everything, right? If then statement can solve the planet. And because I had all my trauma in my brain and then I wiped it out, now I just have more access to shit. More access to the universal truth. Which is why I said in my last video, I don't have any trauma left, so I don't know how much more of the big juice I get. But I think if I can be extra happy with people, if I can push the tanks, the storage files that are full of the happy thoughts as far as they can, then I think we'll get more of the truth. I didn't make this shit up. It just came out. I forgave the people that need to be forgiven, and stuff started, I meditate, I rest, to rest my mind. Listen, when you're sleeping, your mind organizes everything for you. Your spirit kind of plays games with the folders so that it more closely represents the perspective that you want. Right? But you can want a perspective all you want. That's not the universal truth. So no matter how much you lie your face off about shit, you can never make it real in the past. The past is in the past. We're never going to travel in time. It's not a real thing. Those are our lessons. Like school, right? In the 3rd grade, you learn long division, right? Thank you, Miss Poussin. Oh no, Miss Robinson. But anyway, you learn long division. And then the next time you learn something else, and the next time you learn something else. It's how it works. It's good times. So we'll do a video on trauma process, and I had a wonderful cab driver, or Uber driver today named Devin, and he was a very talented rapper, and he was in touch with his spirit, and he had a good vibe. Yeah, it was good, and I just want to say that's a good point there on the Uber driver, but how the universe works is the people that need to hear me the most are listening. I'll randomly pop in their life because their spirit wants me to. Their spirit needs it to happen. And thank goodness, because I want to be here for everybody. I want to help everyone find their way. Trauma processing clears out your storage files so you get to use more of the God brain. And you can break any one of your emotional ones to get to where you're going. But when it feels good, you don't recognize it, right? The best football player, the best baseball player, the best whatever, they're happy. So when they enter into the universal truth, all they're really doing is figuring out where to pass the ball or when to swing at the pitch. That's the same thing I use to figure out data equations, right? And the whole universe is just data. It's so important. I love data. It makes me so happy. People tell me when I show off my spreadsheets, I glow, and it's a true story. It's the artists. The artists are the most blessed. The artists. Gosh, woke people are artists. When they get into their and writers, when they get into their vibe, when they get into their flow, they're just doing that. They're kind of manipulating the universe in a great way. I mean, you can write dark literature, but if yeah, I guess it's not always in a great way. But the good stuff, like Harry Potter, like it brought so many people such hope, and that came from J.K. Rowling's passion. There's a great story about J.K. Rowling that I like to think about. She's important to me, kind of, because she was homeless when she wrote Harry Potter. She went to the library and stuff. She had to figure out where to get electricity and stuff. And I think that's part of the critical part of the journey. Struggle, struggle. I know I'm all over the place. I'm so full of his light. I have a hard time controlling what I want to talk about. I hope I got enough out, but I'm at 11 minutes, so I'll make another one.